give you a view of Alloy Mobile and how that can help as well. I think Steve mentioned it before, but it works both online and offline. It's an app that can be downloaded from the App Store and the Play Store, so it works on Apple and Android devices. Look and feel is very similar to the cloud system. If I want to navigate, I can sort of pinch, zoom, I can swipe, pan around. In the top right-hand corner, you've got a sync icon there. In the bottom left, you've got a locate me button using the GPS on the device. You've got this little plus in the bottom right, and you can use that to add assets in. So if people are out and about and they notice that an asset's missing, they can add that in to improve your inventory information. And then if I press this hamburger icon, the sort of 3 horizontal bars in the top left, this gives me access to all of the activities that have been pushed out to me. So I've got an open jobs inbox. I've got no inspections on this for this user, 1 project and 4 waste rounds. So quite an eclectic mix of work to carry out. What I'll do first is I'll nip into projects, and my project is a missed bins project. So for whatever reason, we've not collected waste from a particular bin. Someone's reported it, and actually, we're at fault, so we're going to go back and do that. You can see the locations are presented in the map. They're also presented in this list here. I can sort information by various different categories: status, target date, distance to me, and so on. I can also filter that information by a lot of different categories as well. So, the status of it. Is it my task or is it just my team's task? So you can sort of filter and sort your tasks to your heart's content, and then you can either select the tasks in the map or from the list. So once you sort of selected one of the tasks, you get centered on it, and then you've got this bar at the bottom. You'll notice you've got a sat nav button in the top right, so if you want to get to it, you can tap that sat nav button. If I swipe upwards, I now get all the details of the job. And that interaction that you just saw is the same interaction whether I'm looking at a defect, an asset, an inspection, or a job. So again, we're trying to use as much common functionality across different areas of the system as possible, meaning that once you've learned how to use Alloy Mobile for one set of tasks, it's very easy to use it for another set of tasks. And that's the same principle with the cloud system that we've been looking at as well. So we're looking at the device now. You can see the details presented at the top, what needs to be done, what was the issue. Again, you've got a sort of location presented in a card below that, and this sat nav icon here that I can tap takes us into Google Maps, and then I can just work through Google Maps to get directions, and then tap the start button there to actually start navigating to the job. There we go. So you've got that navigation capability, and then the great thing about Google Maps as well is that it's using live traffic information. So, it's going to get your teams to the next task in the most optimized way. And then, let's say we've arrived. So we're going to fill out the details quickly. You can define all the attribution using Designer again that you can see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the team member. So it's me. I'm going to say I've started the work now. Obviously, go and empty the bin, and then we'll set the status to completed. That auto-populates a completion time that you can see just here at the bottom, and then I'll save that. And the work is done. And then we can move on to the next task. So you can see the icons now changed to a tick in the map. If before we do that, or as part of the process, you've got this little plus button in the right here. And that allows you to, if you've got the right permissions, create new jobs, defects, inspections related to this particular task, add attachments or add work items. So if I go add attachment, I can add images from my camera, from my gallery, or files that I might want to attach to this job. I'll go camera, and there's my screen, create a crazy image for you. Something from Inception.
I like it. Your house doesn't start bending over on itself.
It really has. And you can create as many of these images as you want and tag them to the task, the inspection, the defect, the job, the asset, you know, it's all the same functionality regardless of what you're looking at. So that is an example of how we can sort of carry out a job with the mobile device. I'm now going to knit to rounds. So I'm going to turn my device horizontal to create the in-cab view. And then I've got my list of rounds sort of presented here. So I can select one of those. There we go. And again, as with the sort of job that we just looked at, I've got the same options. It's obviously a slightly different thing we're doing, but I can sort by status, raise date, target date, and so on. I can filter. I've got a list here. And I've also got all those waste collection tasks presented in the map as well. So if I select one of those, here we are. We've now got all of the waste collections on Gale Street, which is the street we looked at before. And actually, if I zoom in, this is the bin. Ooh, this is the bin that wasn't at the property. So, you know, just sort of showing you that the data in the cloud system is reflected on the mobile device. And the idea is you just get to the start of the street, you select it, and then you just drive the street doing your work. And if you get to the end of the street and nothing's happened, you press complete task and it's done. And you know, everything's done. It's that simple. As you're driving along, you might notice some different icons. We've got a purple icon with a handshake. That is an assisted collection that we've defined. So you can see that there's some extra help that we're going to have to give at that particular location. Perhaps one of these locations, and you can either select them from the map or from the list, one of these hasn't put their bin out. We can just tap it, tap bin not out. We've got the camera icon in the bottom left, so we can take a photo again. We can add notes, tap OK, and it changes color to red in the map and also in the list. Moving on, let's say there's one more. Tap the bin icon again. Let's say it's a bin swallowed this time. Tap OK. And again, we've got another event that we've recorded. What's great about this is as soon as the device syncs with the cloud system, you could have something like a workflow sat there listening for this bin swallowed event. And then that workflow creates a job to go and replace that bin. And potentially, you know, if everyone's out at work, sort of looking forward to sort of non-pandemic times when maybe people are back at the office more, you know, the new bin might arrive before they've actually even realized their old one was gone. The only thing they might notice is it looks a bit shinier and it's not got, you know, the number printed on it anymore or something. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of flexibility in defining your business processes with the system, and the mobile device is really simple and clear to sort of follow for operatives who, let's face it, you know, have a day job to do. This should help them as much as possible. That it shouldn't in any way hinder them, but also it needs to give you guys all the relevant information to help you understand how your service is performing. So once we've done the street, we just tap complete street and we get a load of ticks, and then we can move on to the next street, or waste group, I should say. I shouldn't use the term street because it doesn't have to be a street.